Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z. Pothead Picker on X. Flips and Giggles is the eBay store and also the Whatnot page. And then Flips and Giggles is also on Facebook. You can find the Facebook page there too. Another week, another reselling. It's not like a blog. I mean, it's a podcast, obviously, but like it's kind of like a little journal, I guess. Every week, sit down and try to remember what I did in the last however many hours there are in a week. Yeah, it's so the weather's like last week. The weather was really nice. It was like, in the 70s, I think. So, and it wasn't even like, it wasn't too hot. It wasn't too muggy or anything like that. There was some bugs like Thursday, Friday. But other than that, it's been nice. Today, it's starting to feel like fall, and it's like the first day of October. October 1st right now. It seems like fall was just like, all right, knocking at the door. But yeah, there are still some sales this weekend. The good thing about where I live is like sales do kind of continue through October. So there's like still a couple more weeks of like, solid yard sale weeks before it becomes like, fucking Mad Max. Everybody has to scrounge for one estate sale, get there early, sit and wait. I hate off seasons. It's like, because all the during the yard sale season, there's plenty of sales and people kind of stick to their own places. But then as pickings get more slim, people just kind of go to wherever the sale is that they kind of want to go to or whatever. So then it's almost always like you got to get there crazy early, get on a list, stay there, wait. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be my tactic in the off season. I think like last year I kind of took a few weeks off and it was kind of nice, but there also wasn't too many sales. So it's there's like a couple. There's a big one coming up this weekend. There's like a community one. So they're still going strong. It's supposed to be like in the 70s this weekend. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful that I'll find some more stuff this weekend. We have another Whatnot auction coming up tonight. Before I get too far into the podcast, I just want to bring that up. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, October 1st, and it's before 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, check out our Whatnot page, Flips and Giggles. I posted a bunch about where you can get like $15 to spend on the show. It's auction style live auctions. If you're not familiar, I keep talking about it, but I just assumed that people who listen to this show know what it is. But yeah, it's like live auctions. So yeah, and that's tonight at 8:30 p.m. We're doing video games. So I think I've got like 80 something video games to go through. So I'm hoping we sell out. Last week was like kind of a bust. What did we do last week? We had toys, and I thought toys would be like a big draw, but apparently I didn't have good toys. And I mean, I kind of knew I didn't have good toys. All my good shit goes on eBay. But the video games that I have now, I mean, it's all types of shit. It's like stuff that might not have sold on eBay for like too much. And like, honestly, I had a bunch of video games that I pulled off of my eBay. I actually have to do that after this. Just finish pulling off the rest of them. But I had like 0 views on a lot of my video games, and not like they were priced like ridiculously high. They were priced within reason, and I had offers on. I just had 0 views, 0 watchers. So I was like, you know what? So I cleared out pretty much my whole video game cabinet. Like, I've had the last of these video games for a while now. But man, it's so hard to find video games in the wild now. Like, even as somebody who wants to just get them for like to collect some and sell some, somebody posted something last night, and of course I didn't see it. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I didn't see it until I like was going to go to bed. And it was like a PlayStation 1 with like a bunch of games, and of course it's like good games. It was like reasonably priced. And Facebook will tell you now though, they'll be like, this person's getting a lot of messages and isn't responding to them. So like you can send your message anyway, but they're probably not going to respond to you. So it's kind of cool that they kind of set the expectations, but then I just send like 5 messages. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you got my last message. Cause I'm like you need to respond to, you know what I mean? I respond to people unless it's like a ridiculous thing. I try to respond to all of it, like, hey, sorry, it's sold. Hey, sorry, I don't have that anymore. Or if I don't see it, but like people will post them and they'll get a ton of messages and they'll just be like, they won't say shit and they'll leave it up. So the longer you leave it up, the more I'm going to keep sending you messages like, hey, I see this is still available because it's posted, so I can pick it up. I tried a little tactic today that was kind of sneaky. I didn't know if it would work or not. I thought it might work, so I tried it out. So I had messaged the person last night about those video games. So when I woke up, I was like, I had set a reminder to reach back out to them. So I was like, let me just try this and see if it works. I was like, hey, I just wanted to check back and confirm the address again for meeting up in the morning, so I could come pick those up, because I had already sent them one saying like, hey, I can come in the morning, thank you, whatever. So I did like a follow, like, hey, I'm just following up and confirming that the address is for tomorrow. Just like I worded it in a way that they might have just like not even looked and been like, hey, here's your address. And then I could have just ran over there and been like, yeah, I was the guy you talked to. But yeah, it didn't work. I thought it might work. I thought I was going to be sneaky. But yeah, it didn't work. Fuck, I think my kid just shit. She always like, well, try to get her to shit and then she won't. Anyway. So yeah, what the fuck was I just talking about? I don't even remember. I just got sidetracked with shit. So yeah, I thought I was gonna be sneaky on that one. There's been a few like Facebook Marketplace posts lately that have gone up. I actually got one yesterday. This lady had posted blow molds, and she posted there was like I think she had 6 of them in the picture, and she had them up for 200. So I was like, I knew I could make some money on a couple of them, and like 200 is kind of a lot. So I was like, I could do 150. So I sent her a message, and she's like, no, we're not taking offers, blah blah blah. I was like, all right. So then she messaged me back, and she was like, hey, I talked to my mom, and she said that she'll take the 150. It's like, all right. So I showed up, and they actually had an extra blow mold that that wasn't in the pictures. They were like, oh, we're just gonna throw this one in for free. So I was like, all right, sweet. So got back, took some pictures, hit up my blow mold guy, and he came by. He always comes right away. He was like, I hit him up, and he was like, hey, I'm driving like right near your house. I could stop by. And I was like, all right, yeah, come by. So he stopped by, fucking picks him up. He's bought a ton of those things for me. He got like the Easter Bunny. So it's the Easter Bunny. What was it? It was Easter Bunny. He got a ghost, which I've sold him the same ghost in the past. He got a ghost, and then he got a little angel. So yeah, he ended up paying $100. So I got 100 out of the 150 back within like 2 hours, which was nice. And then I had somebody else who messaged me from Instagram, who's interested in the Halloween blow molds, but he's a dude I know from from reselling and shit. He comes to my yard sales and stuff. He's like a younger guy, cool guy. He's bought stuff from me before, but he'll hit me up and ask me about shit. Like, hey, is this, can I take a look at this, blah, 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 and I'll respond to him. And then he'll take like 2 weeks to get back to me. I'm like, dude, I can't, I can't, I got to move on. I'll like hold it for a certain amount of time, especially if you ask me. You're like, hey, can, you've done business with me. Can you hold this for me? Like, yeah, sure, I can fucking do it, But like, yeah, this dude just like doesn't say anything, and then like he'll hit me up again about some shit like way later on. Never even mentioned the last thing that he didn't pick up. And be like, hey, can I pick up this? I'm like, sure, man, whatever. I just say yes at this point, and then like he doesn't. Half the time he doesn't come. So I hit him up and I told him like I wanted 100 for one of the, because I have like a witch blow mold that in good condition it sells for like $200 on eBay. So I'm like, I got mine for like $100, half off, because it's not in the worst condition. Like it's got great paint. It's just got a couple of little issues, but like other than that, it's fine. And so yeah, it's so yeah, I know I can get I could probably get a little bit more than 100 on eBay. Well, I could probably get like 125, 150 maybe. So I told him 100, thinking like, hey, he'd counter, but we'll see if he hits me back. I'm gonna hit him back up today and be like, yo, I got that witch left. That's all. So if you want it, it's yours. But I'm gonna be listing that shit soon. I bought a box because I want to try. I got the other 3 that I have left besides the witch are Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. I have I remember that the drunk podcast I did with Jacob. That's almost 2 years ago now. That's gonna be like coming up on 2 years. But that one was I had Joseph at that point. I don't know whatever happened to that Joseph. I think I ended up giving that Joseph away for free. To be honest with you, nobody wanted just a Joseph by himself. I probably could have sold it on eBay, but I was like, I don't feel like dealing with it. But yeah, now since I have the 3, I have Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So I think I'll sell them all 3 of them together. But yeah, that was that was when he scared the shit out of me. And I was like, Joseph Christ, good times. Anyway, guess he had to be there. Sorry, I've been taking that human communications class, and I'm not supposed to say a lot, but I feel like it's different with the podcast that I'm kind of thinking of off the top of my head. So I'm trying to kind of think of what I'm going to say. And it's every week, and I've got to kind of come up with shit every week. So some are going to happen. I don't know what to tell you. Halloween stuff's already out. My wife was, where the fuck did she go? She was gone somewhere. Was she working maybe? Yeah, it was over the weekend, so my wife was working. So me and my kids went to, we had to go to Target for something, and they had like the whole Halloween section set up. And everything was 30% off. Like, not the costumes, of course, weren't 30% off, but all the other bullshit. And, so I was like, oh, fuck yeah, like, let's get some stuff for the house. Like, my wife had just pulled down, like, the Halloween stuff, so all of we had plenty of Halloween stuff. But I'm like, oh, let's get some shit at 30% off. And I got, like, these little lights that go outside, and within, like, 5 minutes of setting them up, I broke 2 of them. I'm like, oh, this is why they're 30% off. They're cheap pieces of shit. It was like these cheap, that cheap plastic that's just like you breathe on it wrong and it just fucking cracks. It was that type of plastic. So I was trying to like put those, we were at the Halloween place. There's a lot of Halloween shit. It's 30% off. They fully got me. You know what I mean? We walked through. They have like this whole thing set up. It was like a walk through little archway. And my youngest was like getting scared, but I'm like, this was like, I think she was just fucking, like, she just, like, copies shit sometimes. So I think she was like, oh, sister was scared at this, like, I'm scared or whatever. Like, I think she was just trying to be, like, big sister. So I couldn't tell she was actually scared, but she might have been a little scared. So I was trying to be like, hey, this is fun. Like, let's grab some fun shit. But I remember my oldest didn't like the fucking Halloween section either. Like, she was not big into it at all. And we went to the one, there's, like, Lowe's has, like, all the crazy, cool, like, realistic-looking animatronic shit. And I remember my oldest was like, nah, get me the fuck out of here. Like, she was not about it. They don't like scary shit. My kids are little pussies. They've been too sheltered. Yeah, speaking of Halloween shit. So I was trying to, every time, so this is what happens every year around this time of year. I'm like, I want to watch some Halloween movies, like some scary shit. My wife never wants to watch that shit. It's not that she doesn't want to watch it. It's just that, so like when we watch TV together, and like there's only so many things that like I'll watch, and like I'm not going to watch some other shit that I don't want to watch. You know what I mean? I know there's some guys that are like, oh, I'll watch this shit with my wife. Because when I watch shit that I don't want to watch, that I don't really care about, I just sit and fucking ruin it. And it's not even like I'm doing it on purpose. It's just I can't help but react to the nonsense that I'm watching. And so like my wife will be watching some shit that like, Chef Show or whatever the fuck those shows that, women like to watch. And I'll just sit there and just constantly mock it and like talk shit. And she's just not going to enjoy it. So if I'm going to watch something, it's got to be something like that I'm into. I know that's selfish, but like otherwise I'm not going to watch it. You know what I mean? So put some shit on. I've watched like some, romantic comedies before. Like we watched, what was a rom-com? We just watched a rom-com not too long ago. I can't remember what it was. Something on Netflix or something. But it was like a fully a chick movie. And I was like, hey, you want to watch this? And yeah, so I can't remember what it was called though. Don't ask me to remember what it was called because I probably didn't pay attention to it that much. But anyway, so every year this happens. It's like September, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna watch some fucking horror movies, some slashers, some fake shitty gore. We're gonna watch some fucking cool shit. And then Halloween, it's like the week of Halloween, and like we've watched Hubie Halloween, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like we haven't watched anything. So I was like, all right, we got to get it going this early. So I was looking through for horror movies the other day, and I saw Alien Earth, the new like alien, like the xenomorph aliens. It's like a new show on I don't know what it's on, HBO or Hulu. I don't fucking know. I don't know what half of them are anymore. So we watched the first episode, and it's good. It's pretty engaging, but there's a lot going on. There's like synths who are like synthetic people, robots or whatever. Cyborgs who are like half human, half fucking robot or whatever. And then there's like humans, and then like and so they're kind of going through explaining this, that, and the other, and they're on a ship. Part of it is like this crew on a ship that's transporting these specimens, and so one of the obviously the alien, the xenomorph, the little like face hugger things are on the ship there. But there's all these other like little creatures and fucking like nasty, like deadly fucking things. There's like these tick alien creatures that like suck the blood out of your neck until you die, and then they just like fill up. It's crazy, like just sci-fi shit. And so like as it's going on, like there's more shit that's just kind of like, if you've seen an alien movie ever, you're like, oh, okay, that's what's like, that's the face hugger, and oh, that's like that's like this, the fucking xenomorph, and this, that, and the other. So I'm like, she's asking me, she's like, is that the alien? I'm like, what? And she's like, that thing, that little creature there. Is like, is that the alien? I'm like, no, this is like Alien, like the movie Alien. She's like, what? I'm like Alien, like the xenomorph, the big, like the face huggers, and the big, like black thing with the big fucking head. She's like, no, like none of it was ringing a bell. And my wife, like I've been with my wife over 10 years. Don't ask me the exact amount. I just know I go by decades. Get me to the next decade, and then I can tell you it's been at least 10 years. Maybe 13, 15 years. I don't fucking know. We've been together a long time. And my wife, I love my wife, but one of the biggest things that it's not even a thing we have an issue with. I have an issue with it. Is so like we'll go to watch a movie, right? And my wife, I'll go, hey, have you seen this movie? And she'll go, no, I haven't seen this movie. I'll explain it to her. I'll say, this is who's in it. This is what it's about. No, I haven't seen that movie. I'm like, okay. I start a movie, put it on. We get about 15, 20 minutes in, just enough to get invested. And she goes, wait, is this the one where, and she starts asking questions like that. You're like, oh, you've seen this movie. And so for like ever, I would be like, hey, let's watch this movie. And now I don't do it. I'm just like, whatever, like I'm not going to show you a movie. But occasionally it comes up that I'm like, I get the chance to show her a movie that I'm like, you know what I mean? Because she shows me movies that she loves. I've seen a lot of, I've seen most movies, but like there's been a couple that I missed. Like she showed me Labyrinth, which is just basically a child molester. Like that's what I got from that. Like fucking David Bowie as a chomo the whole movie. Like just trying to lure little girls and kids into this labyrinth. Like that was fucking weird. And then she had like Little Monsters, I think, with the kid from the Wonder Years and Howie Mandel. And I'm like, and all that is like grown-ups trying to hang out with kids. It was fucking weird. So anyway, so I'm like, all right, you pick the movies. We'll watch some weird fucking movie that you watch when you're a kid, whatever. I'm sorry. This is a very long way to get to what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. So every time I'm like, hey, watch this movie, and then we watch it and ends with me being like, what the fuck? I wanted to show you this. You've already seen it. What the fuck? So I figure out that she hasn't seen Alien just from like this conversation. I'm like, so you don't know about this or this? I'm like, so, have you seen the movie Alien? She's like, no, I don't think so. I thought I had, but maybe I haven't. So it's like, all right, fuck yeah, let's put it on. So we put it on 2 nights ago, and I was surprised she actually stayed awake because she was like super tired the night before. So she stayed awake for like most of what we watched. So we watched the first up to like where the little alien pops out of the dude's chest, like the fucking iconic scene. I'm like, you've never seen this scene? She's like, no. And she's seen Spaceballs. So when the little creature pops out of the chest, I'm like, you remember Spaceballs? Like when the fucking thing's singing at the end? She's like, oh, that's what this is from? Like, yes. So anyway, like the first half is very slow. It's like, you know, them just fucking hanging out on a ship. And then like once the thing pops out of the chest, that's when it's kind of like, all right, they got to kill this fucking alien. And that's like the movie. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen, I saw that movie like, I mean, it's from 1979 and I haven't seen that movie since I was like maybe like in the 90s. Like, I don't think I'd seen it since I was like 10 or 11. Yeah, I think it's been that long. And so, you know, we were watching it and I remember back in the day, like thinking like, man, the fucking special effects on this one were like so cool compared to the other ones. Like that fucking alien just looks so fucking scary. And we watched it this time and I'm like, man, like it's 1979, so you got to give it some grace. But I'm like, that's very clearly just a fucking dude in a suit. Like he wasn't even trying to pretend to be an alien. He was just like, he wasn't doing like any, like he wasn't moving like an alien. Like, you know, like you see people that do acting and shit now, like, and they have to play something like that, they're like fucking moving their whole body. This was just like a dude in a fucking suit that they were just like, yeah, stand there. Maybe at one point he just like puts his hands out. Like I didn't even know that they had hands. I thought they just had like claws and shit, but he puts his hands out and like it just looks like he's like it's supposed to look like he's grabbing at the person, but it just looks so fucking cheesy. And then they zoom in on like the mouth when he opens the mouth, because that's like one of the most famous things is like the little dual mouth. And yeah, it's like it opens the little mouth, which like it kind of doesn't make sense that it has that little mouth. It's like, well, what the fuck is the big mouth for then? You know what I mean? Does it ever use both? Like, what is the big teeth for? So, oh, I guess it does eat him. It would eat it after. I don't fucking know. But anyway, and like it zooms in on the mouth, and it's just like like a waterfall. It's supposed to look like, I guess, acid saliva or whatever. Like, but it just looks silly. I obviously still enjoyed it. So I saw that movie. So, you know, I watched that movie and like a bunch of other horror movies way earlier than I probably should have. And that was one that I just remember. And then at the end, Sigourney Weaver thinks that she got away. She's on like the shuttle, spoiler alert. And it's on the shuttle with her. And she's like, she strips down to like her underwear and her like a little tank top. And I remember it at the time being like, you know, just like super horned up little kid and being like, that is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And me and my wife are watching it, and my wife is just, my wife has a booty. That's all I'll say is my wife has a, you know, she doesn't have a dude's butt. You know what I mean? Like it's clear that she's got a booty, and I think she'd be okay with me saying that. And so yeah, Sigourney Weaver, which I remember like Heartbreakers, that movie with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Again, like one of my like all-time horniest favorite movies from when I was like 13. Yeah, it's just Jennifer Love Hewitt and like Sigourney Weaver in bikinis the whole time. And it was like, and you know, Sigourney Weaver at the time was like, I thought she was super hot. And then I see her in this underwear and I'm like, man, she just has like a dude butt. And then she's got, to make it worse, they've got this underwear that's too small for her. So it looks even more ridiculous. My wife's like, is that supposed to be hot? I was like, I think so. I mean, it worked for me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I was 10 years old, 11 fucking, you know, it's got aliens and like this chick in white underwear. And so, yeah, so she puts on like the spacesuit and she like goes to try to kill it. And then it's just like laying there. And I'm like, why isn't this thing like, she doesn't wound it or anything. It just like somehow shows up on this ship and it's just laying there. So then she's got to like spray the shit out of it to get it to come fuck with her. Then it comes over and she like kicks it out. So I just couldn't. And then I had to look it up online. I was like, why doesn't this fucking alien attack her? And it's like, the answer is like, oh, it was explained as those things have a short shelf life, and that's what makes them like such a good killing machine. You know, they would drop them in and take over, you know, as a weapon. But I'm like, how did you get all of that? It was just all from inference. And they're like, that's what the director said. Well, it's like, well, I guess I would say that afterwards if I just wrote some shit that didn't make sense. But yeah, it's just laying there and she finds it in the ship. And it's just like, so that part is kind of confusing. But again, it's a movie from 1979. We're going to watch part 2. I want to start part 2 maybe tonight. We got the Whatnot auction. So probably won't start part 2 until like Friday night. But I'm curious to see how the alien looks in part 2, because I remember it looking like a lot more menacing and badass. Like, it literally just looks like a fucking guy in a suit in the original one from 1979. Like, there's one point where they're in a hallway and it's just like cuts to it and it's just like he like walks out from behind the hallway. I'm like, why are you walking like Michael Myers right now? Like, walk like an alien. Like, you should be crawling around. Like, it was pretty bad. But once you get past that, I mean, it's fun. It's the atmosphere. Like, it's everything shot about it is really good. That's why I'm excited for the new Alien Earth. Because it's like, you know, they've got like, it's like obviously like more fucking. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing. At the end, they like, the way she kills this thing is like she opens the hatch to like kick it out into space and it's hanging on. So she shoots it in the chest with a spear. And it like falls out of the back of the ship, and she closes the hatch, and it's just hanging from the back of the ship, getting like fucking charred and burned from the the back of the plane, the jet engines or whatever. And it just looks like a guy just like swing. It looks so bad, But I think I just talked about Alien for 20 minutes. I apologize. It is a great movie still. I mean, it still holds up. A little slow again. So you got to like kind of, if it's somebody who's like, you know, you got to warn them, be like, hey, it's a little slow, but like, yeah, once it gets going, it's pretty fucking cool. It's got like robots too. Yeah, I was remembering shit that like, the second one's cool as fuck too, I think, because she's got the, the second one is the one I think she kills it with the, she's in like the big armored suit thingy and she fucking crushes it. And I think she calls it a bitch. I was waiting for her to call it a bitch in this one. And then she was saying something. She called somebody else a bitch. I think she was yelling at something. Yeah, but like I specifically remember her yelling at the alien, calling it a bitch. So I think that's the line that they keep from the first one, is her calling the alien a bitch this time. But anyway, I'm sorry for rambling on and on about Alien. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, my wife is I'm like trying to text my wife to trying to text my wife because she's like, there's a running back available on fantasy and she's should probably grab him. Sorry, hold on. My wife's doing terrible right now. That's why I'll let her figure it out for herself. I can't only help you so much. I was like, pick up this dude because some dude got put on injured reserve, and so I texted her like, yo, go pick this dude up because he's going to be playing a lot more. So we'll see if she does. I don't know if she's going to do it. Who knows? But my fantasy team, I'll talk about it right now since that's kind of what distracted me. I've been doing really well. I did shitty last year, so I got a bunch of draft picks, and I spent them wisely. I just spent the rest of, you get like a certain amount of money to pick players up throughout the year. You can still pick players up after, but you have less of a chance to get them because people can just bid higher than you and get them. But I just dropped the last of my money on a running back. And I think my team's pretty solid, even if I have some injuries, which I've been lucky so far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hoping that I can keep it going. It's hard to do that on top of other stuff. My school shit's been like not too tough. Like I had that presentation last week. That wasn't that bad. And then yeah, so I have another presentation like 2 more weeks. This one goes until I think like December. But yeah, I can't wait. The whole like having to do the speeches, which is fine. I don't mind doing speeches, but it's just like it just doesn't really. It's not. I don't know. I still am like, what the fuck am I doing in school? I don't understand why I'm in school. It's taking up time that I could be spending on my business. But I guess I'm learning stuff. Who knows? So a while back, I went to the sale. I thought it was like last year, but it was actually like in May. And it was like an estate yard sale. And I got there at like, that was like the last sale of the day that I went to. I think that was maybe the town-wide yard sale. And, you know, I came up and they had a Switch outside. We were asking $200 on the Switch, which was, you know, it was pretty good. It wasn't like, you know, the worst price ever. I probably could have talked him down to $150 maybe, but even then I could tell the guy was like not trying to wiggle on the price. So it was like him and his son and then this other lady, and none of them looked like they were part of the same family. Does that make sense? Like they were all the same family. Like I think it was like a mom and dad and the kid, but none of them looked like they were related to one another. You know what I mean? Like they could have been like I could have been their adopted kid, whatever. That's just the impression that I got was like these people just don't like seem like, you know what I mean? Like the kid seemed like he was just there to sell shit. Like they just like adopted him to sell shit. And so I yeah, so I went there and they had the Switch, and then I went over and they had a bunch of T-shirts, and she's like, "Oh, I've got these Marvel T-shirts. I'm doing $5 a piece." And anytime somebody tries to sell me a T-shirt for $5 a piece, you're already like losing me. You know what I mean? Like T-shirts need to be $2 and under. Even at a thrift store when they're like $4 for a T-shirt, I'm like, this is fucking nuts. Yes, some of them can go for some crazy money. I do understand that, but unless you know what it's worth, $2 on a T-shirt is what you should be charging. Anyway, so $5 a shirt because they're Marvel. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Are you gonna find somebody who's gonna come here and just buy like, yeah. Anyway, so then they had these Yeezys, and I bought them, and they had like the authentication slip with them. So I was like, oh, cool, these are fucking legit. Sold one of them on eBay, and it failed the authentication. So I had another one up there. So I took those ones down, sent them in for grading or authentication. Those are fake too. So yeah, 2 pairs of fake Yeezys. And I could tell like afterwards that the guy knew they were fake. You know what I mean? Because had these other, like after I bought them, he pulled out some other shoes, and like those ones were all marked ridiculously high. So I was like, oh, this guy fucking, like I didn't realize until afterwards. You know, I was like, it's weird that he didn't like price these Yeezys like that. So when I got back to the house and stuff and got them like authenticated and they failed, I was like, oh, he definitely knew. You know what I mean? He was just like, oh yeah, they're authentic. You know what I mean? These are great and they're authentic. I'm like, oh, okay. Anytime somebody's saying that shit. But he had the authenticity slip, and they had the receipt from like being purchased at Foot Action. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of stuff to have for them to be fake. But unfortunately, it happens. Yeah, I mean, there's the Check app that you can use. I just don't know, like, you're like, oh, hey, I'm gonna spend $10 right now and authenticate this. So if they're fake, you fucking give me my $10. So yeah. So anyway, they had another sale this weekend. Those people, and I didn't go. It was like Saturday. You know, there was plenty of other sales. So I didn't go. And then on Sunday, my wife was working, but she was like, hey, can you go pick up this Target order for me? So I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll go to Target, whatever. So I'm waiting outside of Target for my wife to send me the little code Um, and she's at work, so it's taking her a minute. So I'm checking Facebook for, any Sunday sales that I might have missed. So that sale pops up again. It was, the same sale that I went to with the Fake Yeezys, and they had done it Saturday, so it was now Sunday, second day of the sale, and this time they had advertised that they had comic books. So against my better judgment, because I'm like, I know these people are going to be asking a ridiculous like a crazy price. So I get there, and there's like the little kid who's just like the worker, and he's like, "Hey, my name's," and he introduced me. This kid's like 11, and he's like, "Yeah, my name's," how's it going? I'm like, "Cool." Like, yeah, I'm here to look at some comic books. So the lady like took me into the back, and she's like, "Oh, there, comic books are in the back. Yeah, the early birds are always so interesting." She's like trying to make stupid small talk, but there's already a guy. Somehow, some other guy had beat me to these comic books. Like, I literally saw the post 10 minutes prior to that, and was like 5 minutes away. So like, waited for them to order and then went over there, and this guy was already there, which never happens, like ever. And so he's like looking at the comic books, and they're in the shed, and I'm listening in to try to hear, like, kind of get an idea. And the guy, it's the same guy as last time with the Yeezys, and he's fucking going on and on with this bullshit. I'm from New York, that guy. I'm from Manhattan, so I know. I'm from Manhattan. Like, the real reason I was there was to tell that guy he's a fucking idiot. So be like, "Hey, you sold me some fake Yeezys. Go fuck yourself." I should have said that in front of the guy he was trying to negotiate with. But anyway, I could hear him from outside the shed, like, asking $10,000 for this comic book collection. Now, it could have been a $10,000 comic book collection, but based on the guy's track record, I'm going to go ahead and say that it was not even worth that. And then I was curious. I was like, fuck, I should have stayed just to look and see what it was, just to see how far off he was. But I guess now I'll never know. So yeah, I just took off and left. I was hoping they were going to be like, "Hey, where are you going so fast?" So I could be like, "Oh, you guys sold me some fake fucking Yeezys. I forgot until just now, so I'm leaving. And I'm calling the cops, motherfucker." But yeah, so that was pretty shitty. But Saturday actually was good. So Saturday there was like a bunch of yard sales in my area, which hasn't happened in a long time, like a bunch of decent ones. So there was one right up the street, so I just kind of like went to that one and then just kind of bopped around. So the first one I got some Carhartt pants, like 3 pairs of Carhartt pants, and the guy sold me some New Balance shoes, and he was telling me, like, he had a Harley shirt, so I was asking, like, "Hey, you got any Harley stuff, any t-shirts, whatever?" He's like, "Oh, I have a ton of that stuff, but just not here." So I was like, "All right." So I was like, I'll come back, whatever. So I came back because I knew I was going to swing back later on. So I swang back, give him a card. I was like, "Hey, I'm still, I was talked to earlier about the Harley Davidson stuff." And I could hear him talking to like somebody else about the Harley stuff as I walked up. Because like I think he saw me and he was like, "Oh, that's the guy for the Harley stuff." It was like that type of a situation. And the lady was like, "Oh, I'm going to pull it out next time, blah, blah, blah." So I just was like, "Hey, here's my card. I live right up the street. If you, pull those Harley shirts out, I'll come by and, grab them from you, pay for them, whatever." So hopefully that comes through. And then, yeah, there was a couple more sales, but they were all like within, 20 minutes of my house, not even, like, probably 15 minutes of my house, just in different directions. So that was nice. I could just like kind of stay in the area. So I went to this other one that they always do, like, these big neighborhood sales. And sometimes they're hit or miss. I went there one year and the guy had like a bunch of Mad magazines, and he had just like sold his video game stuff the year before. Like, every year he was bringing out like different things. So I missed out on that stuff the year before. But his daughter had this little baseball. It was like a Monsters Inc. baseball from Disney. And I just grabbed it because, like, at the time I think I was grabbing anything Disney because I thought it sold. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But that one I got for $1, and it was like brand new, and it sold for $100. It was just like a little shitty baseball. So that was pretty crazy. So like that little neighborhood, I always kind of find shit. There was one time we went, they had a little neighborhood one, and there was this chick who was like fucking smoking hot. I remember I brought both of my buddies, and this chick's like boyfriend was leaving as we were walking up, and she was like selling a lot of his shit because she had asked him about something right before we like left, one of the things I had asked about. But he left, the boyfriend. I just remember, like, this chick's fucking huge tits were out. I'm sorry for being crude, but my goodness, this lady has some giant titties. And And yeah, like we were just like I forgot what I was like. I forgot to ask about video games. Like I probably could have asked for a bunch of shit, but I ended up getting like a bunch of cool Legos, Walking Dead, like a bunch of cool shit. But anyway, this sale was like across the street from like where that sale took place. And so when I first got there was a blow mold outside. So I walked up, asked about it, and like this guy had already like claimed it, I guess. I don't know. He wasn't standing over there, but it wasn't really one I wanted to deal with. It was the same one I had already. And I was like, I would have grabbed it for $5. You know what I mean? So like I left and came back because that neighborhood wasn't really set up yet, and kind of bopped around a little bit, came back, and they were a little bit more set up at that house that I had gone to with the blow mold. So I was like, looking at some of the stuff. I grabbed a couple things out, some stuffies and shit. And the guy's like, oh, is there anything else you're looking for? Like, I was like, oh, video games, toys, like my whole spiel, like old T-shirts, like, cons. He's like, oh, what type of T-shirts? It's like, concert shit, band stuff, that type of stuff. And so he, sorry, my daughter's like fucking scratching up our floors up there with her goddamn toys. And so he's like, all right, I think I got a Dropkick Murphys hoodie, like a sweatshirt into my basement. Like, let me go pull it out. So we went inside and sitting there waiting. So, having to stand there talking awkwardly with the wife, like waiting for him to come back out. So he finally comes back out. I was like, God damn, that took forever. But he had a stack of shirts. So he was like, I actually found a bunch. He's like, these aren't like crazy old, but like they're from like the early 2000s. So it was, there was like three. It was a Jay and Silent Bob shirt, a Clerks 2, Iron Maiden, Beastie Boys. Like it was a bunch of cool shit from like the early 2000s. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So I think there was like a total of like 13 shirts. So I just was like, I'll just buy them all. There was like maybe one I didn't want, but whatever, I'll take it. It was like a GameStop Left 4 Dead polo, which still I think will probably sell for some money. I mean, not like a crazy amount, but it's like the ones that the employees got to wear. So I don't think you could just readily get them anywhere. So yeah, that was like pretty much. And then I went to a couple more sales. Went to this one sale. It was like, dude, it was like the hills have eyes. They had, put the ad out somewhere. And when I went to go to the sale, you drive down, there's not a sign anywhere. And it was like in an industrial like park, kind of like it was somebody's land, but it was like a bunch of like buildings. And, no offense to these people, but they were kind of like super fucking trashy people. Selling like nunchucks next to stuffed animals, like just like and fishing lures next to like just like random shit. And so I went there a couple times because I couldn't find it at first, and then finally, a dude I knew had gone there. I was like, "How the fuck did you get in?" And he's like, "Oh, you just have to keep going like down the road. It looks like there's nothing there, but they're there." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I finally found it. It was all junk. Everything was fucking dirty. Like it was very bizarre. I was like, I don't know why these people. Had such high hopes for that one because the way they advertised it, and then you go back there and it's just like it was like the Hills Have Eyes had a yard sale. It's like, what the fuck? The Hills have deals. Oh no, my fucking my Coinbase app was registered in Rome, Italy. It's not actually true. Oh yeah, so I don't know if I talked about this last week. There's a lady online who's trying to sell. She's got like a ton of like the Disney beanbag toys from the Disney store, but she has them listed as Disney Beanie Babies. So that's definitely not helping her. She sent hold on, sorry, I just got a text message and I got distracted. So I sent her a message like, hey, I would be interested at this at $150. She's like, well, I'm selling them to my friend. I can check with her. I don't know if she'd be interested in selling them for that. And I think she's the friend. You know what I mean? I think she's just using that as like a cop out to be like, oh, I don't want to take that little. And so she has them right now for like $1 a piece, which, in any circumstance, you'd be like, oh, that's like, that's a fair price, which is probably what she's thinking. She's probably like $1 a piece. Like, I can't go any lower than that. But like she's looking for a specific person who's going to want to collect Disney beanbags, and somebody who collects isn't going to buy, $600 worth of beanbag things when they can get, their favorite one for $10 or less most of the time. There's a couple that are a little bit higher in price, but for the most part, they're like, between $5 and $10. So she's looking for somebody who's going to want to buy these things in bulk. And again, at $1 a piece on eBay, like most of them go for between $4 and $5. Like I had a bunch of those WB store ones, and like those ones sold okay, but even those just kind of sat forever. So you're just kind of sitting on them, waiting for them to sell. So, if you're selling them at $1 a piece, nobody on eBay is going to buy them because mostly you're going to get let's say $5 and $10. Between $5 and $10, and minus $15 or 15% fees, minus whatever you're paying for shipping supplies, and that's if you don't charge if you don't charge the customer shipping, then you're paying shipping. So like in my mind, $1 each is like way too high for that stuff like that. Unless she finds another Whatnot seller, she might get like 200. But like I'm gambling on the fact that she's not going to find anybody by, and she's just going to get sick of me asking, and she's like, here, take it for 150. Because I can do 150. I think I could do 150 easily. There might be like a couple heavy hitters that I can sell to make my money back right away, and then just do Whatnot with the rest. There's, 600 of these things. If I do $1 each on Whatnot, it's, $600 if they all sell. And that's if they all sell for the minimum, which, I think if you advertise that one and say that that's what you got, those will do a lot better than I think, the Beanie Boos were terrible. Obviously, that's like the lowest of the low standard. But, yeah, I think that the Disney ones would be a lot better. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. We'll see if I can, that happened to me a long time ago when I got that Mighty Max lot from somebody on Facebook. He just kind of had it priced a little too high, and I was able to get it down. Like, I kind of like not begged him, but like I just kept kind of wearing him down. I was just like, hey, still interested in that? This is how I offer. Da-da-da-da-da. And then he'd be like, well, can you offer a little bit more? I'm like, no, I can't. In fact, I'm probably going to offer less if you ask me again. But yeah, she's just, I feel like that's a solid logic for why I'm offering 150. I'm going to say that next time. I'm just like, listen, this is why I'm offering this. I don't want you to think that I just keep lowballing you for the sake of lowballing you. But I'm going to try to give you a little bit of an education on these. The reason that nobody wants to buy them, and then just kind of go into the whole thing about how, it's a little ridiculous. So yeah, there's been like a bunch of ambulances on my street lately. I thought I just heard one. There's been like, I live in like an area with a bunch of old people. So like there was one like last week, twice in one day at the same house, and then like a third one in the same day at a different house. Anyway, all right, let me see what else I have to talk to. I've got like 10 minutes left. I think I talked about most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I just sold a Star Wars Instapot. It's an R2-D2 limited edition Star Wars Instapot. I like that this is the time of the year that business is starting to pick up, and I just ordered like a bunch of like stuff that I need, shipping supplies or whatever. But like I'm just hoping I can keep it going. You know what I mean? I just really hope that I can keep it going, because it's all about getting shit listed that people want, and like also doing so. It's gonna be hard because I've got to find supply for the Whatnot, Facebook, and Facebook stuff. So this is going to be an interesting winter. I hope I don't fucking stress myself out so much that I am like leave my family. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go get some Zins, and I just never come back. That's the 2025 version. Like, I'm going to go get some Zins. I've been kind of bad with the Zins. I don't have any right now. But I got some like last week. I keep grabbing them because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with my neighbor, and I kept bumming from him. So like, I didn't want to bum from him. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy him one, and then I'll take some from these, and then he doesn't want them, and then I'm stuck with them, and then I just like So they really don't do it for me. Like, I don't think that I'm addicted to them. But I just keep finding reasons to do them. like it's the weekend and we're gonna go do something. I throw this fucking thing in my mouth. Yeah. There's a new like haunted house that's opening up. We got to get tickets to it soon. There's it's this place called like Water Whiz that like in the summer they do. It's like a water park. I haven't been there in a long time, but I remember it being kind of janky. But anyway, this is the first year they're like, oh, we're gonna do a Halloween park, like so it's gonna be like fall festival during the day for kids, and then after 6:30 it becomes a haunted house. So I have talked to my mom a few times, be like, hey, can you just watch the kids so we can go to this haunted house? Like, we really want to go. But yeah, so that's like starting. I think it's starting this week. So we're hoping to get tickets for like the 18th or something like that. So I'm hoping that shit's not sold out already. But yeah, it'll be my first haunted house in a long time, dude. I used to work at a haunted house. I actually this one was hiring. They were like, we're hiring for actors for this haunted house. And I'm not an actor, but I've worked in a haunted house before as like an actor. They call you an actor. I'm like, I'm not acting. We're just scaring the shit out of people. Like, I mean, I guess I'm acting like I'm scaring the shit out of you, but yeah, I used to have to. I think I've talked about this before, but I had to go walk people from like the entrance through the woods, and it was like pitch black because it was the you'd walk them through the woods to the entrance of this haunted house, which was in the woods. Like they built it in the woods. This one was fucking sick, and yeah, so it was my job to like walk them down, and then on the walk back, other tour groups would be coming. They called you like a tour guide. That's what they called you. That was the job. At that at that haunted house, your job was to bring people from like the entrance to the thing down, and I used to be able to do this crazy hissing sound. I could still do like some version of it. I fuck with my kids and do it. Like I'll pop out and hiss at them. But I used to do that. I would come dressed as a clown. I used to be able to do like crab walks. I was doing football all the time, so I would crab walk out of the fucking woods while hissing, dressed as a clown. Dude, I used to scare the fuck out of people. So that part, I just like, I didn't, I didn't think I was a thespian. I just was like, oh, I'm just having a fucking fun, scaring the absolute shit out of mostly female teenage girls. And I was a teenager at the time, but then they were like, hiring for teenage actors. They were hiring for teen actors. Can I play a teen in my 30s? They were hiring for actors for this haunted house. And I thought about doing it. I was like, I could do that. I've worked at a haunted house. I could still be scary. I could still kind of hiss. I could still kind of crab walk. And yeah, I was like, no, I don't have time. I barely have time to do the shit that I'm doing. So I decided against it, unfortunately. So yeah, and then the last thing I'll talk about, this was just kind of a weird thing. I had like an epiphany about technology the other day. And so boomers, like, they always complain that like the younger generations are like addicted to technology. They'll be like, oh, kids are always on the screens and they need to get outside and blah, 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 blah. But like, I've talked about this before, I think, but when I was growing up, it didn't matter whose house you were at, the TV was on. Like if they had a TV, it was on. So like if it was the morning, the TV was on. If it was the afternoon, the TV was on. The TV was just always on. There was news on or some bullshit on. It was just always on in the background, or shit for kids or whatever. But then they'll be like, yeah, well, kids are these days are attached to their phones, are addicted to it. It's like, well, you guys were fucking, you guys were addicted to technology too. Like you guys had it on all the time when you were like, say our age raising kids or whatever. But the TV was just constantly on, which is a screen, which is giving you information. It's not the amount of information that your phone's giving you now, but it was a lot of information that you were just getting from the TV on a regular basis. And then I was thinking, because I was like, oh yeah, I was like, well, I guess like, why are we really worried? Like, boomers were addicted to screens, and they turned out fine. And then I like realized as I was finishing that sentence, I'm like, they're not fine. like my mom's hobby is just hate watching the news. And then she's like, I just started a new show and it's about the news. I'm like, okay, there's other shows that don't involve death and the news and like left and right politics. Like it's become like a hobby now. I'm like, you need a fucking hobby. And I guess I never correlated the two. I was like, oh yeah, like we'll be fine. Like the boomers are fine, but they're not fine. Most of them are not fine. Some of them are, but most of them are out of their fucking minds. Most of them have completely checked out. Yeah, most of them have completely checked out. Let me see. I don't know if I have anything else to talk about. That might be it. Oh, I saw like a random post on Facebook. For some reason I get like people's random posts now. I've talked about this. I hate fucking Facebook. I know you guys know I hate Facebook. I have to use it. I'm sorry. But it's just like a random post, and it's a chick who's talking about how hard it is to be a work from home parent. And she's like, yeah, and it's just going on and on about how like nobody talks about their struggle and how nobody sees them and did it. And it's just a bunch of women in the comments being like, yeah, I just can't. It's like, dude, you get to hang out with your fucking kids every day while raising them. Like my wife would love to be home with my kids, but she's working as a nurse. That's what she chose to do. Yeah, it's like it's fucking crazy. And she's just like complaining about how hard it is to have kids and work. It's like you have a job and you're home with your kids. Like I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel sorry for you. Like, I get like the lack of connection to other adults. Like I get that. But like you can go to play groups. You can I feel like it's easier for women to do that type of shit. Like if I go to try to do a play group with like women, I would feel like a weirdo. Like, hey, do you guys want to do like a play group where we could just like hang out and our kids could play and like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like a fucking weirdo. So like I can't do that shit. I mean, I can hit up my neighbor because he's a dude and he's home with his kids too. So I'd be like, hey, bruh, you want to fucking hang out with the kids? Like that's what, that's what I do whenever I'm like, hey man, I need like some adult time. I'm like, hey, you want to fucking let these kids run around? Easy peasy. For women, it's 10 times easier. I can't just join a fucking group. I mean, I could, but I'd have in the back of my mind, I'd be like, these people think I'm a creep. Like they think I'm fucking getting off on this, being the only man at this fucking in this women's space. So yeah, I just it's the bitching about staying home with your kids. I mean, it's hard. It's, they get annoying and shit, but like at the end of the day, I get to fucking hang out with my kids and I get paid when I'm at home. Like you should be fucking grateful. You should be super thankful that you get to do that instead of bitching about it on Facebook. Ugh, and the fucking cretins who are agreeing with you. It's like, I just can't, I aren't doing anything. Anyway, that's the podcast. I gotta go check on my kid. I'm almost positive she shit her pants and she's just like hanging out in it. She hasn't told me yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that that's what's going on. So that's the podcast. If you are listening today, Wednesday, October 1st, there's a Whatnot auction tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, doing video games. Got a bunch of video games from different platforms. Come hang out, say hi. And yeah, follow us on Whatnot, because we're trying to do shows every week. So every week it's something different. You can check out a sneak peek on the Instagram page, Perry Flips with a Z, Pothead Picker on X. I'm not really too active on that one. And then Flips and Giggles is the eBay store and the Whatnot page. So you can check out everything on there. Yeah, hope everybody has a great week of reselling. Enjoy it. It's probably going to be ending soon if you live near where I live or anywhere other than places that are hot as fuck right now, because your season's ending. I think like Florida's season is probably starting soon, which is like kind of shitty. I kind of want to go down to Florida again soon, do another road trip, but we'll see. My feedback rating on eBay just went back to 100. So look for that to go down at any fucking possible moment, because it never stays. All right, that's the podcast. Thanks, and I'll talk to you next week.